Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Whiskey Sour Libations and Conversations. I'm your host, Dom, and I just want to welcome y'all back. And first off, a few church announcements. Don't forget, we have the candles. I have been, okay, so there are two entries on my website. Two entries. It's a welcome back because I'm going to be back for real, keeping y'all in the loop when it comes to stuff, just posting stuff. You'll get videos, pictures of whatever I'm doing a day in the life of, a little more intimate level than Instagram, because Instagram you only want to give so much because it gets overwhelming for your followers sometimes, but whatever. So same website, saint-angeles.com. That's saint-angeles.com. And if you want to shop the candles, there's also a tab there for the candles. Or if you just want to go immediately to the candle site, it's slash candles. Also, collaboration with Sly Jewels. If you use code St. Angeles at checkout, you will get 30% off of your purchase. I think that's a good deal. A lot of places is giving 10. So get 30% off. And everything is moderately priced too. So if you got a fellow that you want to shop for, they have stuff there for men as well. So with that said, get your dose of St. Angeles. I would like to welcome our guest to the show. I met him through my brother. Whoo, oh my God. This had to be like, if I've been in LA 10, 12 years, this had to be maybe about 10 or 11 years ago. So, everybody, please welcome to the show, Joe Bradford. What's up? What's up, baby?
What's going on? How you doing?
I am. It's been a long time.
It's been a while. It's been a while. You've been out here doing your thing. I've been doing my thing. I've been watching you though. I've been double clicking on your pictures.
I think the last time we saw each other in real life, was it Phoenix's first birthday?
First, yeah,
That is
first,
the last photographic evidence of I have of us seeing
yeah,
each other.
yeah, first or second birthday. Uh-oh.
Phoenix just turned 6.
Exactly. And my son is a couple months younger than her, and he's about to turn 6 as well. So yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. What's been up? You have children now? Because it's
Yeah,
not sons.
yeah, two boys. Two,
Wow.
two, two boys, two boys that just started school the other day. Well, they're both now at the same school, which is
Okay.
which is fantastic. It's one is in preschool, one is in kindergarten. So I'm happy about that.
That's so dope. I remember the first time that we met actually.
You do?
And I do. Okay, so when it comes to certain things, I have an amazing memory, but like certain things that might have just happened, couldn't tell you where.
Yeah.
Like last night, I had ran into someone that was like, "I met you before," and I'm like, but it was like literally like a couple months ago that I met this person, and I felt so bad, but also we were not formally introduced, so not as bad, but
Right.
I still can't tell you her name. Um, we met. I think we were over your house, and
Oh
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah,
group
yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
When I
a
lived in
game night.
Hollywood, it was when I lived in Hollywood,
Yes, I was like,
right?
I think you lived in Hollywood,
Yeah,
and there was
yeah.
a game night, and I beat your ass in like Street Fighter.
I can't say that part, but I do remember it was in Hollywood. I do remember. I used to love that apartment. I remember that. It was a game night, and I remember you had to park far or something, right?
Yeah, I had a park far.
Yeah, exactly.
Hollywood, you always have to park far.
Yeah, yeah. See, I remember. Yeah, I remember. I
Uh,
remember.
yeah, so you're not gonna give me the props on the video? Okay, that's
I don't
cool.
think
That's
that's
cool.
if I had to remember, I think Kansas City always beats St. Louis. You know what I mean? Like if
I
I had
don't
to
believe that
remember.
to be true because we have more World Series championships than y'all. I feel like we're even probably in the football realm, and that's recently because y'all won 2 years ago. Don't do that to us. Don't do that. Hey neighbor,
Exactly. Hey, I-70 neighbor.
like don't come over here with the slander. You know I go hard
No,
for my
no.
city now that I'm not there. I appreciate them now that I'm not there.
You know what? It's funny because everybody does that because I've learned so much about Kansas City going back home
Yeah.
versus all the years that I've been there, because then people, they always try to down it. They're like, "What do y'all do there? What is there to do?" And I was just like, "What do we do?" You know what I mean? Like I know what I do, but like, what would somebody
Yeah.
from here? And then it's made me like go back and really research the history. And I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that's what that building is. That's my whole life. I've seen that, and that's what." So I definitely can appreciate my city more, that I'm not there every day. So
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where there are certain aspects of the city that you miss.
yeah.
St. Louis is a little more chaotic, though we have not been on the first 48, unlike Kansas City.
Oh yeah, we
Um,
stay in there for sure.
St. Louis is very chaotic in its way, weird way, and I just this is a conversation I was having last week with one of the former radio personalities, and wanting the city to be so much more than what it is, and
Right,
offer so much more to it,
right,
and give back and uplift the community and really dive in. You and I, we talked offline about community, which we'll get into, of
right.
course, because we're going to get there.
Yeah,
And it's, man, I think I really, really, it took me to leave to really, 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 really love the city
it
and
always does.
all that it has to offer.
Always
And it
does.
shouldn't be like that.
It should, but because we take it for granted, and we go where we know, we go to the restaurant that we know, we go to our cousins,
Yeah.
everybody, you know what I mean, and it's all based off like our family. We don't explore the city. We go.
Right.
I know
Right.
where I'm going. Like I could drive around Kansas City right now in my sleep.
Yeah.
It's I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm going there. But then it's like, but when I moved here, it's like, well, what do y'all do? What is Hollywood about? What
Yeah.
is the South Bay about? What is Santa Monica? What is this? So then now us as tourists here, it's like, well, we want to go check this out over there. We want to go check that out over there. When it's home, I'm gonna go. Hey, we know. Hey, we don't mess around over there. We don't go over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then it's like, so then when you go back and you're an adult, and then now you're taking people and trying to tell people like, because you're proud of your city, right?
Yeah.
Because they always try to do that, and it's like, no, I'm proud of where I'm from, but let me show you something. Then you learn as well, and it's like, damn, well, this city ain't that, it ain't that bad. It's not.
Yeah.
It has a lot more to offer, But when you from place, you take advantage of everything. It's just
Yeah.
you take advantage of your mama and or your cousin or whatever else. That person is doing great things over here, and you just like, oh, that's just my cousin, because you know
Yeah.
so much about them. So I
And
understand.
it's funny because I would love to go to St. Louis and maybe do like a vlog series, like maybe go for a week,
Yeah,
carve it out, create content, interview different people, um, and just really, really see a different side of the city that I don't know nothing about. Like, I don't
yeah,
know anything about the Bush family. I know a lot of them
right, right,
committed suicide.
right,
I
right,
do know that.
right,
Or
right.
was that the Limp family? What, one of them families? But it was somebody that went kind of crazy, and it might have been the Limp family because they do the haunted house tour, and then they have the thing if you stay through the night, whatever. Um, so I know stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
couldn't, and I know a slight chunk of the Black history from St. Louis, but that's all I got. Like,
From Kansas City is like, Harry S. Truman, which is one of the presidents, is from Independence, which is right outside of Kansas City, and he has a
right?
library and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? But and we got stuff like Truman Corners or whatever else like that, or all this stuff Truman, right? But growing up, it's just Truman Corners. It's just whatever, Truman Road.
Yeah,
With not really putting it together that like that's the
yeah,
history of the city. So it's all those different things like that you're saying, and and I wish that we as people would be more like in tune with that side of stuff, because there's so much history, especially like Kansas City with all our jazz culture and all this other stuff that we have there.
yeah,
But when we growing up, we not, I grew up in the late 80s and the 90s. So I'm not thinking about jazz. It's all about rap and hip hop, but
yeah,
so much. And now we have the Negro League museums and all of this other beautiful thing, especially for black people that we have there. But it gets so washed down because it's like we're just focused on what we're doing and not really like where we.
about what's around and restoring. And I have a teacher, actually Tahir and I had this teacher. We didn't have him at the same time because we're not the same age, so I'm not a failure, guys. Um, and he has like a Black History museum that he created, where it's like certain artifacts and different history of the city in St. Louis. So I definitely want to pop in when I go back, but it's just about trying to carve that time out to really like be intentional, and
Right.
for my family, mainly my mom, to understand this is vacation. I have no, I'm not trying to run errands for you. I'm not interested in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if that means I don't stay at your house.
Oh, see, I do. I stay at my mama's house because then I'm taking my kids. Because then for me, it's a time where all of my family can see us
Yeah.
one time, and I usually do throw an event. I usually go on my birthday because my birthday early September, so we go to a Chiefs game and I throw a birthday party so then everybody can see. But now my kids are in school. Now it's like I can't really do that no more. So I just had to go in the summertime, which I just came back like 2 weeks ago, from Kansas City. So it's a good thing, but just carving that time out is hard because then we've been gone
Yeah.
so long too. Everybody has a life.
Everybody has a life.
Everybody has their own life that has nothing to do with us now. While
Yep.
they going to work and we just sitting around, that's I'm just like, so it's all good though.
It's interesting. So that's why I would be open to kind of creating and curating an experience, because I have so many people that I'm still connected to and plugged to, that's kind of really making moves for the city and doing different things. So it would be dope. Like I have a homegirl, Jamie, that has a podcast studio in
Okay.
downtown St. Louis. And
Oh, that's nice.
so a homeboy that I grew up with that went to church with, Neil Richardson, is part of like the redevelopment and stuff for the city, and bringing certain cool aspects in, and
Yes.
bringing money to the. So it's like levels. So I was like, okay, I can carve this out like this, and then I can do this, and then I can go here. It sucks because I wanted to be there recently when Tahir did have a show, because I was like, oh, we could take people around and like have a camera and see. And I could never get it together. And then they wanted like all this money to take a flight to St. Louis, and they made that up. So, um, but speaking of community,
Yes. Yes.
in your title, you have Bear Truth, B.A.R.E, which
True.
clearly
Yes.
there's abbreviated for the entire name, Truth Inc.
Yes.
So tell us about Bear Truth Inc.
Okay, so the name of my organization is Bear Truth Inc. Which is an acronym. It stands for Balance, Ambition, Respect, and Encouragement. And I have truth on the back because I have a truth. Everyone has their own truth, so I don't try to
Yep.
force my truth on anybody, right?
Okay.
Whatever you believe, whatever you want to do, that's you. I just believe that we can live in this world like together and just make it a better place. You from St. Louis, I'm from Kansas City, some people from Los Angeles, New York, whatever. It don't matter. But I just think there's a certain level and standard that I want us as people to live by. And it all comes from just my own upbringing in Kansas City. I'll tell everybody a lot of the stuff that I do is what we either went through or what when I was a kid looking back at life and what I wish I had. So we do a lot of stuff for the community, and mainly for the homeless community and for those that might be below the poverty line. A lot of the people I tell people right now, a lot of people that I hang out with is way below the poverty line. You know,
Mm,
and it's really just to I really want to inspire people and to really let people know that there's a bigger world out here and you can do it too. Like you can do it. But for me, growing up in Kansas City, my mother had me at 15 years old. She had 5 kids before she was 21. So me and my mama cool. She only 4
yeah.
years older than me. So that's always been my girl. And but my father passed away when I was 7, so
Okay.
I didn't have that. I'm the oldest, so everybody I know pretty much always looked to me for something. Even when I moved to California, I still happened to be the one with the car, the place, and so it was kind of like that gravitation. And I used to run from it, to be honest with you, because it was just I never felt like I got to do what Joe wanted to do. I always
Mm.
made sure that my siblings was good, and I make sure my mama was good, or make sure my cousins was good. And so, are we still here?
Yes, you're there. I was just making you bigger.
Oh, okay, okay. Uh, yeah, so I just had to make sure that everybody was good. And so when when I moved to LA, it was just always just been a calling on my heart. Like I said, I ran from it. I went to college in Orlando, Florida, and I was like, I wanted to get far, far away from anybody that knew me, that needed me for something. And it just always was a pull on my heart. And so I created an organization to literally to do that, to give back because we needed it. Our house caught on fire when I was like 11 to 12 years old. And so that immediately forced us into homelessness. And I remember what that was like, not having a place to call home and living in a shelter or living in a battered women's shelter. And so now I wanted to make sure that I'm giving that back to the world because I used to sit there and wonder why no one helped us. And so for me, now that I'm in a position to help people, I want to do that. I want to have fun. I want to smile. I want to inspire people. And I also want to let people know that there's a bigger world because growing up in Kansas City, I didn't know there was anything besides Kansas City. Like we didn't go vacation nowhere. We didn't do anything. So now I done been to LA. I done been to different countries. I done been to Africa. I done so much stuff. And it's like there's a way bigger world out here. And I really want to give back. So right now we do feedings every Sunday and every Thursday. I feed about 15,000 people a year. Um, I have multiple shared housing throughout the city where we're taking people out of the shelters, out of the couch, off your couch, out of their cars, and we're giving people a place to stay. I want to make sure that people are safe, and from there, once we make sure you're mentally and physically safe, then we can start attacking the other issues that you might have. Maybe it's an employment or different things of that nature. So we really try to do that. And then I have a mentoring program where we partner with the schools or these different programs and really work with these kids. So I work with DCFS as well because I'm housing those kids once they age out of foster care. So but it's a really like a full whole person program, and it's really, like I said, to help people. I want to inspire people to let people know that they're not alone.
That is so much to even take in that quick statement, and it's so many layers to it because I'm thinking about the way that I grew up. My birth mom passed when I was 6 months, and you know my aunt that I call mom. Shout out to Lucretia. Hey girl. Uh, I love saying her name. I was like, when is Lucretia coming on? Um, really taking like my big sister and I in and raising us as her own. She was young, like she was in her like late 20s when this happened. My mom passed, she was 32.
Right.
And you know altering your life, and somebody really being a fence for you, like a foundation, creating that safe area for you. Because I think about, honestly, like, if we might have, and this is no dig at my family, but if life probably would have been completely different how we stayed with our dad.
Of course.
And trying to figure things out. I remember just getting my cycle, and my mom, we were at my dad's house, TMI. My mom was in Africa,
Mhm.
and I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm at my dad's house. Like, do
Yeah.
I tell my dad? Like, I
Yeah.
was like, thank God. Like, okay, I get off the bus, he picked
Yeah.
me up from the house, and I
Yeah.
can grab enough stuff.
Yeah.
But just being able to have that foundation and
Mhm.
people to come into play that really lifted you up, like the power of community. Because,
Right.
like, that's what I hear when I hear you speak.
Yep.
you know um and I'm a huge advocate for community, because I know that's something that really catapulted my sister and I to, like, be successful, be great, because we have all this support around us. Like, I'm hearing your story and I'm like, yo, like, we're very similar in a lot of
All this
ways.
time. All this
All the
time.
time, all the time. And I'm like, knowing you, and I don't think we've ever had an intimate conversation like this before, ever. Like, it's always been,
It's been a social. It's been
it's
social.
been social.
Party.
So,
Something. Yeah.
and so I really think that's amazing and dope, because as you're speaking, I'm like, okay, so who can I plug with you? How can I get you even to do outreach in St. Louis? Because my mom is a juvenile attorney,
Right. See.
and there are cases, and there are kids, and there are things that happen, like you said, keep people age out, and that's how they end up in the system, going to prison, and for small trivial things. And are people really needing each other? Because I think about how someone stepped into that role of mother for me.
Right.
You know, two of my aunts for real. You know, my mom would drop us off in the summer at my aunt Sharon's house in Carlinville, Illinois, this small town. And so really having people that really were there in
Hmm.
how we need really each other.
I tell people that all the time. We do. I I used to always say I did this alone. I did it alone. But when you look back at it, what did you really ever do alone?
Right.
Like, what did you ever do? You didn't, your school, you had a teacher, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like, even though you
Yeah.
might not talk to them all the time, but they taught you, they gave you this, they showed you this, you had another friend that you lean over and, girl, what about, you know what I mean? So we do
Yeah.
being alone. And we all go off on these journeys and try to, I'm gonna make it by myself. And no, you're not. Like, no, you're not. But I can understand how it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, how it's hard because I moved out here and didn't know anybody, did not know one person. I don't have family here, nothing. So I get how it's hard, but it's like we need each other more than we do not, and that's how
Yep.
these things happen in these conversations like this. So that's why I'm gonna thank you right now for even asking me to do this. I really appreciate it, because it gives me another opportunity to share my story and share what I'm doing, and it gives people opportunities to help out. And because everything I do is for the benefit and the safety and the security of other people. So if you could help me do that by connecting me, liking it, reposting it, donating, whatever it is, it all helps. So, like I said, I'm gonna tell you thank you because I really appreciate things. These are one of those conversations that I've had in my quiet time amongst my friends. Like, why don't we help each other these ways? If you got a big platform, small platform, whatever, allow people to share, what they're doing because we all doing something great out here, and it's all if we're all pushing each other forward, then it's to the better of all of us.
And that's what it's about, looking out for each other. I was explaining that to uh, Jeff
Mm.
and telling Ty, I said, if there's, it's crazy the power that we all have as human beings,
Right.
and if I know somebody that's doing a project or something or that's looking for certain talent, it is my duty
Hmm.
as an extension of you to
Hmm.
speak your name in that room.
For sure.
I'm not, that
And
doesn't
to defend me,
guarantee.
and to defend me in that room as well.
Yep. And also, oh, I don't play those games
Yeah.
because that puts a lot of things into perspective for me as well, because I feel that
Mhm.
if it's one thing to have a conversation where maybe something could have happened and you're trying to break it down with somebody where it's not negative and you're looking for advice. So that's one thing. But
Right.
if somebody is bad mouthing you, I don't play those
Yeah.
games.
That's
I
good.
don't.
That's good.
And I've walked away from friendships. Last week's episode, we talk about that outgrowing friendships, being able to walk away, knowing when it's your time to go.
Hmm.
But we hold so much power, and we you see it all the time on social media. We feel like Black people, we gatekeep.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is, that we gatekeep a lot of times, because there's more than enough money out there for all of us to make. It's enough space for us to create.
It is. It is. It is.
And
But it's the culture. It's the culture around us not having nothing. So like I
yeah,
said, I didn't grow up with a lot. So now that I got something, I want to keep it.
yeah,
I mean, and
yeah,
it's like you would learn if my thing is I always tell people I get more because I give first.
yeah,
I give first. You know what I mean? And that's how it is. But a lot of us just don't have that concept. We're just stuck in this little box where you gotta try to make it. We're always trying to make it versus other communities that they have it handed to them. So then it's like it's here. We are
yeah.
always just trying to make it, and so it's like I gotta keep it. I gotta, I don't want to, I don't want you to mess it up for me. And sometimes that's not most of the time that's not that great for us.
It's and I don't believe somebody can mess something up for you.
Exactly. No, I don't either. Yeah.
And when you really sit back and think about that, like you can, in the sense of there are certain things that we all have to be mindful of that we
Of course.
say.
Of
Of
course.
course, because words mean things and they have power. We just talked
Of
about that, but it's the sense of us acknowledging there's a time and a place, and there's a way that you can communicate whatever it is that you're trying to say.
Right.
Um, and but I don't know why that is, and it's just, if I can create something and do something, and I see
Hmm.
a light in you, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. Do you want to collaborate? We should collaborate on this.
Hmm.
Why would I leave you out?
Because
Like,
I agree with you. I do. It doesn't make sense long big picture, but
yep.
short term is because I never had what you had, or just like you were just talking about the love of your aunts that raised you, right? Well, then you got to think how many people didn't even have that. And I know you
Right.
said your mother passed away, but a lot of my tenants are former foster youth. And watch this concept. Growing up, everybody that they ever spoke to was getting paid to talk to them. And if a
Mm.
job came through and paid them $1 more, they were out. And that kid
Yes, and
didn't
now do it again.
experience love. Now they got somebody else that's only there, that's probably overworked, underpaid, and talking to, you know what I mean? Versus you and I that did have people in our house that did really genuinely love us, didn't want nothing from us but to for be better. But some people never had that. You know,
Right.
that's why I'm always trying to get people to understand there's so many people like love is going to be the answer for a lot of these problems. But when you've never experienced love, you don't know how to receive it or actually show it to somebody else. So when somebody is coming around you and is trying to give you this love,
You can't
you,
receive it.
you can't receive it. You don't even know because in now, you know what I mean? Like you don't know. Like for me, I remember saying when I moved here, because in Kansas City we have no like Hispanic people. Well, growing up, now we do. But when I moved here, it was like I would meet people and they would be like, "Oh, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to say what this is in English." You know what I said?
Yeah.
I don't want that. You can't even tell me what that is. And it might have been something I liked, but because I didn't even understand it, I don't even want it. And I probably done walked away for some good food. You know, I probably walked away. But if you can't tell me what this is in English, I don't want it. And that's the same concept with people expecting
Yeah.
love. I don't even understand what this is. I don't want that. Mm-mm. And then now every other situation and deals and when they trying to do it's all about them because that's what they're doing. They're in so much of a protecting mode. And I know this for a fact because my tenants in my houses right now at this moment are experiencing these aspects, or the people that quote unquote did love them, sexually assaulted them,
Mm-hmm.
molested them, punched them, beat them, so that's not love, or they think that is love.
Mm-hmm.
That physical
Mm-hmm.
pain is love. They think that you got to do whatever. Everything you need to do is you cut somebody's throat to get ahead of them. Do what you
Yep.
need to do. You know, and that's a different version of love that's not right, and it's not progressive in any way. You know.
It's crazy. I was literally explaining that concept to my mom. I said, a lot of things that we experience, especially as Black people, we believe that we have to get it at it has to come with a struggle, and that's not true.
Yeah.
It's just that we've been conditioned that way, and we've seen so much struggle, especially in the shows that we watch and the things that we read and the things that we listen to. And like you said, a lot of people, this get it out the mud mentality, not looking to my neighbor, not looking or not having the resources available to them. um it's always this struggle concept.
Yeah. And
And and I
my
just I
kids are not
rem-
gonna
go
struggle.
ahead, go
Jeff's
ahead.
kids are not gonna struggle. My kids are not gonna struggle. You
Yep.
know what I mean? But guess what? I knew Jeff when Jeff was selling shoes.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's not gonna struggle, but he gonna be able to tell them, I was once over here doing this, but now look what I'm doing. And he's working very hard so his kids don't have to
Yeah.
do the exact same thing. I did a whole bunch of stuff in Kansas City. Or that's another show. Whole bunch I make sure that my kids won't ever have to do that. Right now, you don't
Yeah.
have to struggle. They're going to struggle in just their own little ways.
Yeah.
Everybody's struggle is just a different type of struggle. We don't
It's a
have to
different type.
get
Yeah.
even much. No, my kids are gonna get it through the grass. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
complete,
Okay.
it's a completely different thing. You know what I mean? So
We were even in the midst of, like getting reacquainted with people, that I haven't talked to in years, like that conversation, and this person really understanding, oh, I never knew. And I'm like, well, you never asked. You
right,
said you assumed or you thought. So
right.
you made an assumption about me instead
That's
of taking the time to really understand and get to know me and what my history is like, with my background, what I came from, and different things that we went through. And, it's not that we had like a hard knock life, like it was tough, but we all grew up in the hood. We know how that is.
of course, of course.
Different experiences. And I did a lot of stuff outside of my neighborhood, like where I really
Yeah,
wasn't heavily involved. But as you got older and you at home and you start realizing, like, damn, I just drove home last night and I couldn't get down my street
yeah,
because they had it blocked off with police tape. It's a body hanging out the car.
exactly,
Or it's like, yo, it's like 7:30 in the morning. I thought it was a dumpster, like being dropped, because I lived in the city.
exactly.
And it's the one day I had my internship. I had to be in my internship at 5 a.m. and I didn't have to go on Fridays. So I'm sleeping in and I'm like, them damn dumpster. Gunshot. But I heard rustling in my backyard. Kid goes up to runs to our backyard, goes to the school up the street and dies. So I'm like, this is crazy. And this should not be normal.
It shouldn't be, but unfortunately
It
it is.
is.
It
It
is. It
is.
is. Yeah, it is. It shouldn't. None of that shit stuff to definitely be normal, but unfortunately for a lot of us, even my own relationships, I've said stuff or did stuff, and I didn't think nothing of it because where I'm from, this is what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Missouri is an open carry state. I've seen people with guns at Walmart on them. So I wasn't so like, oh my god. And then when other
Yeah.
people seen it, it was like, well, I was like, oh well, we grew up seeing it,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean it's right. Just because
Yeah.
it happened to you, that doesn't mean these things are right. So I'm definitely with you on that. It shouldn't be normal, but
I think that, I always tell people, I said, there's a conversation that we have to start looking at each other to have, because we are all raised, since we, landed here. I don't know where the fuck we landed. But Black people, a lot of, pretty much any, if you are not Black and you're in America, you are literally living based on survival. Like you're in survival mode 24/7.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't think we realize that, because that moment where it's carefree, and you're not thinking about, when I leave this place, what this is like.
right.
Like we had a beach day Saturday, last Saturday, and
I wasn't invited. Sorry.
okay, we'll make sure to get you on the next round. Damn.
I did like the pictures though. That's that. That's that.
you know, but with so much happening in the world, and just losing an associate and all these things, so it had been like this revolving door of like
Mhm.
mess and unfortunate events. And in that moment when I told you, every person was carefree. Nobody was. We laughed, we cried, we joked,
Yeah.
and played around with each other. But like literally, every person literally was like, "Oh my God, thank you for hitting me up. I needed that. I didn't realize I needed to decompress like that, because we just hold so much in our bodies,
Yep.
and we are all vessels of energy."
Yep.
And so we all need to be able to be refueled and recharged as well. Just like you got to take care of your car, you
You
got to
have
take
to.
care of your home. We
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to take care of ourselves.
You have to. And that's why one of the first letters, like I said earlier, is balance, right? So
Hmm.
just with balance, just that, just you. As much as we go through, you still need your time to enjoy life as well. Like everything can't be on the grind, on the hustle, on the this, on the that, which we all got jobs and everything we need to do or responsibilities, but you have to have that time for yourself to just kind of let your hair down and have fun. You have to. So like I'm happy that you guys did that. I really am.
Yeah. Okay. So then, what is the A?
Ambition.
Ambition.
Listen, yeah. So with me, that's why I said the balance. You have to have that. So even getting enough sleep, you know what I mean. Like you have to, especially because we getting older now. You know what I mean. So like we have to do certain things. So in ambition, you need the ambition to do anything that you want to do, whatever goals that you want to accomplish, or whatever that you're trying to do. You need that ambition, that extra little kick to get you there. And then the R is for respect. That's just giving respect to the elders, giving respect to your neighbor. You know what I mean? Like giving respect to that person that just cut you off. So it doesn't. Everything doesn't have to be the biggest deal. So respecting yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Respect yourself first, and then respect your neighbors. And then once you go there, then we just keep going. Because like I said, I deal with the homeless population in Los Angeles, so like there's a level of respect that I give them. I tell people my goal is to humanize those people that we have dehumanized, and that's
Yeah.
the way that I could do that is give them respect. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna treat them like that. I'm gonna treat them like they're a man or a woman. And
Yeah.
just and the E stands for encouragement, and that's one of the closest ones to me because like I said earlier, I am the oldest of five. So my younger siblings, and I know I might have higher standards than some. And so what I always did when I was younger, I compared them to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I did because I did this and I did that. Why are you not doing this? And it's just like if you compare yourself to anybody, you or them are going to fall short. And to
Yep.
me, my siblings were always falling short of my expectations. And so I don't think that I did a good enough job of encouraging them, as their older brother versus talking down to them. In the moment, I didn't feel like I was talking down on them because it was like, I love them so much. I wanted to push them to be better.
Yeah. It's hard because
Yeah.
my mom, she ended up having a baby. Uh, shit, she was pushing 40. I'm 10. My big sister 13. So there's a huge. It's big, but and I know some people who have a bigger age gaps, but it's like we grew up in the same house.
Right. Yeah.
We were taught the same morals and things.
But it's that.
Jennifer be talking to you. She was like, I mean,
Yeah.
and then my whole about Takara got a joke about this, and she's like, that's how her daughter talks. Her daughter's 17. I was like, so it's like a huge like these Gen Zers, they all do that, and you're like, complete the sentence, spit it out, or
Yeah.
why is it like this,
Yeah.
or why are you? We all have the same, we're told the same things. So why are you acting like that? And it's just like, stop being an embarrassment. But then there are certain things, but there's that level of protection too.
Exactly. And that's really what it is. But then for somebody else, when they're experiencing it, they're not hearing it that way.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah,
taking it as an attack because they've watched you do, or they could secretly even wish they had done what you done or did whatever, and it's just not coming out that way. But now, we all would turn away if we forced to look at ourselves in the mirror. We all would be like, oh, and that's what it was. And I just felt like I was doing more harm than good, even though my intentions were always good. And so I said to myself, I have to change this up a little bit. I have to, and then that's where the encouragement came from. And one of my mentors just told me this just literally yesterday. He said he read this book about, so for every like constructive criticism that you give to someone, you need to give them 7 to 14 compliments,
mm.
right? To balance it out. And to me, I was like, that is hard as 7. I give 3, but it really challenges you as a person to be better and to speak positivity into people, a little bit more because it's easy to pick out the negatives of what people are doing. And that's who I am because I want everybody to win. I want you to be good. And like my siblings, we grew up in the same house. We're literally stair steps, almost.
Yeah,
So it's like I want y'all to be good. And I love them so much. And I know I'm probably harder on the people that I love the most,
yeah,
So But
I
because
think we all are, yeah.
yeah, I just love you. I love you so much, and I don't want you to struggle. I don't want you to have hard times. Like it hurts me, especially because I'm not in Kansas City as well. When my siblings have stuff going on, and I can't be there to help them or fix it for them or do it. So it's just always been trying to get people to a way. And so for me now, since I work with the community in all different levels, I wanted to encourage people to be the best versions of themselves, whether I'm around or not.
Do you think that you get that savior complex just from everything that you experienced early on growing up? Because also you have to think too, you can't, and when you really think about the perspective of it all, or put into perspective that you not being able to be there to save them, or I can't do this, I can't fix it. It kind of teaches them a level of independence and allows them to stand on their own.
Right. It does. It does. But then I've always, because of me, and this is where like I said, I use my own experience because I felt so much, right?
Uh-huh.
I used to wish that somebody was there to bail me out, like or not even bail me out, or just help me so that
Yeah,
I don't have to.
yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
get it.
So that's where I try. I'm like, well, I already did that stupid shit. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, let me just tell you, and you don't even have to. And my siblings will always be like, oh, I don't have to do it. I'm gonna run to it now. I'm gonna run and do it. And it's like, oh my God, like you don't
That
have
ain't what I was trying to
to.
say. You
Exactly.
listen, it is the wild that
Yeah.
okay, oh my God.
Yeah.
That is so crazy because in having those conversations, especially, like with my younger sibling, like letting her know or saying, hey, so and so, I know somebody who has done this and done that. Be aware, like things happen. Our mom says it the best. She always says, look at the Z before you step into the A.
Okay.
And when I tell you that has saved my ass so
Okay.
many times, and
Yeah.
there have been tough lessons
Of course.
sometimes,
Of course. We all get them.
but it's never been anything that has really been super life altering for
Exactly.
me,
Exactly.
and I'm like, now if I do this,
Yep.
oh,
Yep.
am I going to be able to come back from this? And so you think about, and the way my mind is set up, my mind is always racing anyway, and I'm always overthinking. And
Yep.
so I'm like, whoo, I just made up 20 scenarios. Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not
Exactly.
picking up that call or what you thought. Yeah, I know I said that, but I'm reneging. I'm dialing it back a little bit.
And that's how I am too, because I just don't want, there's certain things in life just like you said, we're gonna get into it. And there's certain things I believe that we don't even need to go through that. Like
Yeah,
but we only know that if your mama or somebody else that you trust can say, hey girl, don't do that.
yeah. And I
Don't do
think
that.
there's a level of transparency too, because sometimes I think our parents have experienced a lot of trauma. Get it? Okay, we're still survival mode,
Right.
but and there are certain things that they allude to, but they don't really say. And you're like, what? Like, what
Yeah.
do you even this? How does what you talking about?
Yep.
But without telling, so I was like, okay, something happened. She's not saying what it is, but I think we have to be a little more forthcoming
Yep.
with the information and the why as
Yeah.
well.
The why is important.
The why is super
The why is
important. It's
important.
like why
Yep.
why are you saying this? What was your experience? I feel that as even as moving away and becoming closer with my mom, um which was work, really trying to, because we're all different human beings, we have different emotions, our thought processes are different. And okay, I get why she says this,
Right.
or I understand why. Makes sense.
Right.
Um, so, but it's still certain avenues. I just be like, girl, spill the beans, because I don't know what the hell you talking about, and why can't I be out here in
Yeah.
these streets like this?
Right.
Okay,
It ain't good.
but it's really interesting because, and I think it's so important for us to have that concept of community, because I know one time I saw that you took a group of kids to a basketball game because Jeff went with you.
Yeah.
And I always think about the idea of how a girlfriend of mine, my girlfriend Erica, we always wanted to kind of have like a nonprofit and be able to do something to give back to, especially the girls, because there's certain conversations that we need to be having at an even younger age,
Of course.
with our boys and our girls. And I remember I had a friend that works for the Y. We talked about this on a previous episode where I went and talked to the kids, and my
Yeah.
heart was so full, and they were like, how did you leave, or what made you want to leave, and how do I do this, or I didn't even know,
Mhm.
you know that I could do that.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, girl, like, you have dreams, you imagine things, right?
Follow
It's nothing. I'm like, I say that means if you don't have anybody in your household, and whatever your situation and circumstances may be, run to somebody that is going to support you, that can help you, be a mentor to you, that can really push things forward. I have a lot of homeboys that grew up without fathers,
them.
or their father was, in and out or doing different things. They will break up, get back together, little stuff like that. But they always had someone around that was kind of like a father figure, where there had been like a coach or a teacher or whatever the case may be. There was somebody, a cousin, somebody there that they could lean on to get that support that they needed. And I think that is so important, that we really get back to the basics of community.
Right. And those are the things that I try to do with my organization. It's having
Yeah.
people, and bringing people with me to see my events. Or because, like, on Saturday we did a backpack. I gave away backpack and school supplies. We gave over 200 backpacks to the community. You know what I mean? And I gave a bunch of raffles and all this other stuff. These organizations that partner with me, and it was just they got to see me. I'm laughing with them. I'm there supporting them, and I'm letting them know that, like, it's good to take care of each other, because I didn't know all 200 of those kids. You know what I mean? I don't know them, but I got to meet most of them, and I got to take a picture with them, and I got to let them know I don't want nothing from you but for you to just be good. This is all free for your parents. I gave away hygiene supply, all of this stuff, and this is just the love that I have from me to you guys. So, but that's the community effect, and I hope that one of the kids or 10 of those kids run with that and do something even way completely bigger than what I'm doing for another community. And now watch that. Look at that wildflower. If that could just keep going, and now you working with those girls over there, and your other friends working with them girls over there, then now we're taking care of everybody. Everybody getting a little bit more, and giving that love, which is what we need.
Yeah, it's crazy because I really think of, like a lot of different um you know things, and I really sit back and I reflect. And even this journey here to LA, you know, um I knew that this was somewhere that I always wanted to be. Stop laughing at me.
No,
And,
because it's I'm laughing because it's so much of mine. Like,
yeah.
listen. I see so much of me in you. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
don't make me cry.
Because it's like I knew it. I just knew that God had a bigger purpose for my life. I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back then I thought I was going to be in the NBA. But
What?
but
Dog, we're the same height.
this is this is what I
My
just.
wingspan is longer than yours.
But it's just this is what we're supposed to do, and it's crazy how you end up in these different places. Like I said, I went to
Yeah.
college in Florida, and then came out here, and it was just like, how come I never left? And then now when I was taking pictures and giving out these backpacks the other day, and it's like, this is why I never left. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This is what we were supposed to be doing at this moment. So
it's
you say
it's
stuff.
funny because, like, I always knew growing up that I wanted to be in some form of entertainment. I wanted to model, do all these different things, and I always had the confidence that I could do it, right? And then I got to LA, had a really, like, solid paying job, and that's how I know Jeff. Like, me and Jeff, I remember meeting Jeff, and everybody was following. I was like, "So cool, looking at like he, y'all pressed."
Yeah.
Like literally out the gate. There was, and so we clicked immediately.
Right.
And I was like, damn, like it's so crazy how God really places people in your lives for
Mhm.
certain purposes. Like Jeff was like that brother that I was missing,
Yeah.
that I needed, and that he needed me. And so it's crazy how like our relationship has evolved because we pretty much adopted each other. I was like, do we just need to legally do this? Uh like Jackie looks out, his kid, like I'm Zay's godmom. Phoenix is my like heart and soul, and I love Chantel.
Yeah.
I remember meeting her, and I told I didn't tell Jeff, but I knew that was gonna be his wife
Yeah.
out the gate. I When we exchanged contact, her name has been my phone since I met her, Chantel McKenzie Pierre,
Yeah.
since I met her,
No,
because I knew.
yeah, that's dope.
And so, but they didn't let me be in their wedding, but that's cool. I could have been a groomsman in a
Yeah.
suit. But it's funny because like I think of like the journey, and the only struggle that I've really have had out here has been, like many people, has mainly been a financial thing.
Yeah.
And I always knew that God was going to work it out. It was going to work itself out. And then there are moments you have highs and lows, like, really, you know, suffering from anxiety, being depressed at times and trying to figure it out. But I always knew that I would end up here.
You'll be good.
But
Yeah.
it's like having your friends that recognize your worth, your value, your talent, and being able to lift you up. Because sometimes you need your friends to lift you up because you can't do it on your own.
I told you earlier, you can't do nothing alone. We do
Yeah,
nothing.
do nothing alone. Like it's so crazy, and I sit back sometimes and I'm just in awe. And then I'm like, okay, now I gotta go harder.
Yeah, you got to keep moving forward. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
your work is not done. And your work is not done. But what I will tell you, because I'm hard on myself because I feed people. So then, like when I would run out, I would be like, damn, and then now somebody else will come, and now two more people will come, and I was like, I just need more. But then it's like it's never going to stop, right?
yeah, it's never gonna stop.
So then you also have to be satisfied and
Hmm.
you gave it all that you had and be happy with that and enjoy that. Don't give up on doing more, but enjoy where you are. And I wasn't the person that enjoyed it because I was
Yeah,
like, I need more, 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 more. And I need to, I want to get to now we feeding 50 people. Well, now I need to get to 100 because 50 more people didn't ask me after that. Well, then when I got to 100, it was like, well, now I need to get to 200. You know what I mean? And I never stopped because then my friends or people online, random people that I don't know, be like, man, what you're doing is so amazing. And I'd be like, yeah, it's cool, but like, there were still five other people that asked me. So like I didn't even get it. But it's like you got to
you
enjoy it.
got to.
And I want to tell you that because I know I don't even do it as much as I should. So please enjoy what you're doing because you've done a great job. It's always hard. We came out
It,
here, from somewhere else. It's hard. Especially we don't have this big city and all this other stuff like they do. So it takes a bit of getting used to kind of finding your little rhythm.
yeah.
But then once you got it, you doing more than watch this. This they always tell me you doing more, girl, than people that's been here their whole life.
It's about it. Hold on, that's a whole conversation for another day. Because there's something about the work ethic out here that's just really,
It's a little different.
it's a little different.
Well,
It's a
because they
little
be
different.
connected. That's the thing. They can move fast because of who they know, and we got to work hard because we don't know them.
I'm not even gonna say yes. That statement is true. A lot of people are laxy daisy out here,
They are. They are.
and I'm like, you have no. And it's not that there has to be a sense of urgency, but I'm like, dang, like I just need you to do the bare minimum that this requires, and you can't give me that. What's up?
A little different.
And so I that is true. Like we all deserve rest. We have to also be able to sit and bask in our blessings and be able and ready and willing to receive the blessings that are coming our way. And I know that, we all have been through things that have really, like shaking us up a little bit. But the easiest way to even get out of that for me is to also remember that in that darkness that there is a light. It might not be the closest brightest light, but just focus on that and you'll get there. It takes time. Sometimes it takes a moment to take a step back and revamp and readjust. Like that's what life is about. And I think this pandemic and us still being in this pandemic, and now we have monkeypox, has taught us to be still. It was a lot of people that I knew that probably really hadn't sat still probably in about 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's crazy. And but when we really think about it, we haven't either. I also had to work the entire pandemic, so I didn't really get a moment of stillness.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah, me
you
either.
know what I mean? The hustle and bustle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say you this because you said you never know to enjoy those moments because it could be darkness. So when I turn around and reflect to the time where when I met you, that might have been my hardest time in California. I was probably barely eating and everything during that time, and no one knew. And it wasn't just like let me just go advertise this because now look, you walk in, look, this pretty girl walk in with Jeff. I can't be like, girl, I'm over here starving, you look good, you know what I mean? Like I can't, so it's like in that moment it's just so much stuff was going on, to look at like 10 years ago or something like that, because it was like 10, 11 years ago or whatever, to like kind of where we are now is crazy. And I look back at that and be like, that was tough because I was like contemplating going back home. Like, why am I here? I remember crying in Griffith Park, like, Mama, I hate California. Like, this place sucks. You know what I mean? So, it's definitely the hard time, but you gotta stick through it. You gotta, persevere. You gotta have faith in who you are and what you're doing.
When you know or have somewhat of an idea of your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just the tears that you need to push through.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was almost very, very reactive the other week, and and reactive in the sense of I want to quit my job. I just want to really go ham on this next chapter of my life and give it all I got. I don't want the distractions of my 9 to 5 anymore. But then I realized I needed my benefits.
Right.
And then because it's one thing for somebody that's like, okay, look, just do what you want to do. Like I'll help you out, whatever. And I have my business and I knew I could go harder in my candle business and everything that I was pushing.
Mhm.
And I needed that moment to really just cry. And sometimes you need your person to just not even say nothing, just be there
Mhm.
and just let it out. And then you're like, okay, cool, I can see clear.
Right.
I had this reset. I now know what I need to do. These are the goals. This is my plan, and I have to go hard for the next year. And if I
Mhm.
give it all I got this next year, and I know I'll start to see the fruits of my labor really, really come into play, and things will flow how they're supposed to that God already has waiting for me. So
Yep.
when I put that into perspective, I was like, all right, cool. This job, like I know this is my bread and butter right now, but this is my end all be all. I got next. It's cool. And once I took a moment and it was like, okay, back to your normal self, bitch. You got this. You're the shit.
Yeah.
um, I felt so much better. I felt so much better. And I tell people, is LA easy? No. Is anywhere easy? No.
Probably not.
We all have different journeys, we all have different paths, but it's about the discipline. It's
Mhm.
about the consistency that will help you push forward.
Yep.
I have a terrible habit of procrastinating. I always procrastinated. And once I do something, I was like, oh, that really wasn't that hard.
Nope.
But there are certain avenues that now, like certain things, I was like, okay, I got to stop procrastinating on this because I don't want this to become a problem really down the line. So it's like taking when it comes to business, like handling business properly and all of that stuff. But
Mhm.
it's all a process, and we're all working and learning to be the best versions of ourselves.
Yep. And
Yeah.
that's all that matters. I just learned to do stuff. I have to do it right now. If I don't do stuff right now, one of my phones are gonna be ringing, or my kid's gonna want something, and then now I forgot. Just do it right now,
Yep.
Joe. And that's how I had to tell myself, just do it right now, because I procrastinate too. I'll be
Yeah.
like, I got time to do that, and then I'll forget.
Yeah. And it's weird because I really wouldn't say that I'm a forgetful person, but it's just like, life sets in and I'm like, oh fuck, like I forgot to do
Yep.
this for that.
I will pick up
So
my phone with the intentions of doing something and forget it because then now I turned or looked or did something and it was like, why am I holding this phone? I know I was picked it up for something, but I just can't. And then it'll come to me later, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's why." So it's life, we
yeah.
all busy. So that's why you said earlier that pandemic, like we kind of got to chill a little bit. Some of us, I didn't really get to because now I was taking care of people, but um, it did help a little bit in that aspect.
Man. Well, we'll definitely have to have you back on the show. So tell everybody where they can follow you, if you have a website, everything, so people can be in contact with you.
So my website is www.B.A.R.E Truth Inc.org. It's on Instagram at official_BARE_truth. And please, if you can, I always ask people because we do take care of people. It is a charity. We are a 501(c)(3), and so all donations are tax deductible. If you go to the website, you hit that donation link. We need it, even if it's just $1 a month. If you can do more than $1, please just go on there, click the link, because you are helping change the lives of someone else's just with your donation and with your support, with your likes and everything else. So I appreciate you, and I love what you do, and I need to get one of those candles.
You do. You do need a candle. I'm trying to brighten up your life.
There we go.
May the candles you burn light the way, my friend.
There we go. Like that.
And
Like
I will definitely, like I said, like we'll stay in touch. This was so fulfilling to me to have this conversation with you. And I hope that whoever is watching and listening will definitely, donate, and also just the eye-opening conversation that we had. Like we are all so similar than we
mhm.
are different from each other, and just really being able to support each other and just look out and just change things for all of us. I'm a huge advocate for that, and I can't wait to see the next steps and levels to bear truth. And everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and listening, and we will see you guys back here next week.